you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all of you have submitted your assignment, whatever given.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So today I will go through all the assignments submitted this one. So if there is any problem, then I will let you know accordingly. Okay. So let me start with today's topic. Okay. So today, whether the slides are coming or not? Okay, it is coming. Okay. So this is the picture which is showing the anatomical structure of the ruminant stomach. Okay. So in previous class, I have explained the importance of roughages and how to calculate the total feed requirement, like roughages and concentrate. Then again, dry roughage and green roughage, and conversion of the green roughage on from dry matter to as such. Okay, as such basis. So all this thing already discussed. Now today I will be explaining why we need the balanced feed. Okay. Balance feed mean in terms of roughages and concentrate. Okay. Again, if you divide the roughages into dry roughage and concentrate, then it will be like you need to provide some amount of dry roughage as well as green fodder. Okay. We won't say now dry this one green roughage, but we'll consider it green forage. Okay, forage and concentrate. Now, why this balancing is required? That a portion I will try to cover today. Okay, I will discussing with you. So this is the anatomical picture of the ruminant stomach. Okay, as you know, ruminants, they are having 4 stomach. So 4 stomach. One is rumen, reticulum, omasum, and finally the abomasum. Okay. So rumen, out of these 4, rumen is the biggest one. Okay, biggest one. And this rumen has peculiar function. Okay, because it contains ruminal bacteria, protozoa, and fungi. Okay, microbes. Okay, rumen microbes, which helps in digestion of the carbohydrate. Okay, carbohydrate means whatever the roughages they are taking, or you can say that whatever grasses the animal is feeding, so that grasses are converted by the ruminal microbes in the rumen. Okay, so rumen is very, very important. Then rumen, this is the biggest chamber. You see, this is the purple color one. This is the rumen. Then comes to reticulum. Okay, the feed will enter into the reticulum. Then it will go to the omasum, and finally the abomasum. Okay, abomasum is the true stomach. Why it is true stomach? Because it secretes the enzymes. Okay, enzymes which is required for the further absorption of the different nutrients. Okay, so this is why it is called true stomach, because this is secreting enzymes. Okay, like the non-ruminant. Okay, non-ruminant means human beings. Okay, for human beings also we are having abomasum. So now, can you tell me what is the final end product of carbohydrate digestion? Okay, one is digestion, the other one is metabolism. So what is the end product, final end product of carbohydrate digestion in case of ruminant?
Sir, glucose.
No, Samadhi. Glucose is for non-ruminant. Okay, so you are correct. This glucose is the end product of the carbohydrate digestion in case of non-ruminant species. Okay, but what about ruminant?
So fatty acid.
Fatty acid. No, this is not fatty acid. So what is the final end product of the carbohydrate digestion in case of ruminants? So you see the difference. Okay, so the digestion of means this side is non-ruminant and this side is ruminant. Okay, this is the carbohydrate in feed. So this carbohydrate will break down into glucose. Okay, in case of non-ruminant by the digestive enzymes. Okay, enzymes means those enzymes like amylase, all these enzymes will break down the carbohydrate into glucose in case of ruminant. But sorry, non-ruminant. But in case of ruminant, so there will be microbial fermentation. Okay, as I said, in the rumen, some microbes are there. Okay, microbes means those bacteria, fungi, protozoa, those are there. Okay, so they converted this carbohydrate into volatile fatty acids. Okay, so what are those? So that will be explaining in the next slide. But you remember, okay, the end product of carbohydrate digestion. Okay, not metabolism. Metabolism is again different. Okay, one is digestion, then absorption, then metabolism will occur. Okay, metabolism is the final end product. Okay, don't get confused with these two terms. So the end product of carbohydrate digestion, it is volatile fatty acid in case of ruminant. Is it okay? Okay, so this difference you remember. Okay, I hope you have already studied while studying the digestive physiology, all these things. Whether in digestive physiology portion, whether it is covered or not. Not yet covered. Okay, so okay. But you try to remember, okay, this thing again, it will be discussed in digestive physiology, okay. So for carbohydrate digestion, in case of non-ruminant, it is glucose, and in case of ruminant, it is volatile fatty acid, okay. So what are those volatile fatty acids? You see, the acetic acid, propionic acid, and butyric acid, these are the major volatile fatty acid produced by glucose or carbohydrate fermentation in case of ruminant. Okay, so these are the major volatile fatty acid. One is acetic acid. Okay, acetic acid, this is the chemical structure. So this thing no need to remember, but you try to remember the name. Okay, one is acetic acid, propionic acid, and butyric acid. Okay, now we'll try to learn the function of the individual VFA. Okay, that is called VFA. In short term, it is called VFA. Okay, VFA means volatile fatty acid. Okay, so now we will be discussing about the function of the acetic acid, function of the propionic acid, and the function of the butyric acid. Okay, how it is helping the animal. Okay, so now you see this is the overview of the carbohydrate in case of ruminant. Okay, so now we will be concentrating only in carbohydrate portion. Okay, you just forgot the protein and fat. Now we will considering the carbohydrate portion. You see the carbohydrate, it is after this one ruminal digestion, it is converting into volatile fatty acid. Okay, this is VFA in short term. So this VFA again, it is divided into propionate and acetate and butyrate. Okay, these are the major volatile fatty acid. I already explained, these are the major volatile fatty acid. Now you see this acetate and butyrate in the tissue, it converts into fat. Okay, so it supplies or finally it converts into body fat. Okay, and this side it is propionate. Okay, so this propionate is a precursor of glucose, and in the mammary gland or in the udder, it is the major source of lactose. Okay, lactose, I think all of you know, lactose is the milk sugar. Okay, this is the milk sugar. So this, where from this lactose is coming? This lactose is coming from the propionate. Okay, so from propionate, this lactose is coming in the milk. Okay, and from where this fat is coming? Fat is coming from the, or you can consider it as a milk fat. So this milk fat, it is coming from acetate and butyrate. So is it clear? Where from this milk lactose or sugar, milk sugar, the main sugar is lactose, where from it is coming, and milk fat, where it is coming? Can anybody explain this one, Sapna?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain this one? Where from this milk sugar, that is lactose, where from it is coming?
Sir, from the digestion of carbohydrate. First, carbohydrate converts into starch and volatile fatty acid. Then starch converted into glucose. Then
don't get confused. Okay. So this VFA, so you take it like this way. Okay, carbohydrate after digestion, it will this starch portion you no need to this one, don't go this side, okay? So this after carbohydrate ingestion, it will convert into volatile fatty acid by the ruminal microbes, okay? Then this BFA again converted into propionate and acetate and butyrate, okay? These are the major volatile fatty acid, okay, which is produced by carbohydrate fermentation in the rumen, okay? So this propionate, it converts into lactose, okay, or it converts into lactose in the mammary gland, and this acetate and butyrate, these are the precursor of the milk fat, okay? This is called precursor, okay? Precursor means from where it is coming, okay? So this milk fat, it is coming from acetate and butyrate, and this milk sugar, that is lactose, it is coming from propionate, okay? Propionate, it is a volatile fatty acid produced by carbohydrate digestion, okay? Now coming to the milk protein, okay? This is the milk protein, that is casein, okay? Milk protein is casein. Casein, this milk protein, it is coming from the protein source, okay? Protein source means whatever protein you are offering to the animal, so that protein, first it will convert into bacterial protein or the ruminal protein, and finally amino acid, and this is converted into casein, okay? Casein is the milk protein. So now going to the next slide. So you see, this is the, again I am repeating the previous slide. So these are the major carbohydrate, then it is converted into this VFS, okay? That is acetate, butyrate and propionate, and these are the end product of the carbohydrate metabolism in case of ruminant, okay? So this acetate and butyrate, this supplies the milk fat portion of the milk, okay? Fat portion of the milk, and this propionate is the precursor of the lactose, okay? Milk sugar, that is milk sugar lactose. Now you see, this is very, very important, okay? This slide, okay? The difference between acetate, propionic acid and butyric acid. Now you see, the acetic acid, it is the major volatile fatty acid, okay? Out of these three, okay? Out of these three, this acetic acid, it is 50 to 60% it is producing, okay, acetic acid. Propionic acid, it is 20%, and butyric acid, it is less, okay? So let me explain again from the beginning. So after carbohydrate digestion in the rumen, it will convert it into volatile fatty acid, okay? So this volatile fatty acid, it is of three types: acetic acid, propionic acid, butyric acid. This acetic acid is 60%. This propionic acid, it is 20%. Then 12 to 15% it is butyric acid, and rest 5% it is some other acids are there, okay? That is called minor fatty acid. Minor fatty acid, okay? So that one we will not consider now. So you remember the acetic acid, propionic acid and butyric acid. Now you see, most of abundant volatile fatty acid in the general circulation, okay? Means this acetic acid is the major volatile fatty acid produced by the rumen microbes. So you see, used in fat synthesis, okay? Fat synthesis means milk fat, okay? Used in milk fat synthesis, predominates in high forage diet, okay? High forage diet means if you are supplying dry roughage or green roughage, then it will produce more volatile fatty acid, more acetic acid, okay? So don't get confused. This acetic acid, it is predominates in high forage diet, okay? Forage means the dry roughage and the green roughage. Now you can consider it like this: if you are supplying more roughage, means dry roughage or green roughage, it will produce more acetic acid in the rumen. And as you know, this acetic acid is the major precursor of milk fat. So if you are providing or if you are offering more roughage, either green roughage or dry roughage, then the milk fat portion, it will increase, okay? Is it okay? So you see, finally these two, if the acetic acid is reducing, then the milk fat also it will reduce, okay? If the acetic acid proportion is increasing, then milk fat also it will increase, okay? That is the final one, okay? And how the acetic acid production can be enhanced? By offering more amount of dry roughage, okay? By offering more amount of dry roughage or green roughage, you can increase the milk fat portion of the milk. Okay, is it okay? Then going to the propionic acid. Okay, so you see this propionic acid, it is 18 to 20%. Okay, 15 to 20% or 18 to 20% means the second important volatile fatty acid. So this provides energy for conversion to glucose. Okay, so it is the energy source. This propionic acid, it is the energy source and used in lactose synthesis. Okay, this is very, very important. So this propionic acid, it is a precursor of the milk sugar that is called lactose. Okay, lactose, and you see this propionic acid production can be enhanced by concentrate diet. Okay, by offering more concentrate, you can produce more propionic acid in the rumen. Okay, in the rumen. So if the propionic acid is increasing, that means the milk production, means that suppose one cow is producing 2 liters of milk. Now if you are providing more concentrate, then it will produce, next day it will give 2.5 or 3 liters of milk. The total amount, it will increase. Okay, so total amount, how can you increase? By offering concentrate. Okay, because this concentrate will lead to production of more propionic acid in the rumen, and this propionic acid, it helps in production of the milk sugar lactose. Okay, and now you can ask me why and how it is correlate with the total milk yield. Now this lactose, it is a major osmolarity factor in the milk. Okay, suppose lactose is running from this side to right side, lactose is running from this side to this side, then water also, it follows the lactose. Okay, so lactose controls the osmolarity of the cell. Okay, I am going little bit more in depth, but to clarify all these things, I am discussing all these things. Okay, so lactose, water is always follows the lactose. Okay, so suppose water is going from right to left side, then lactose is going from right to left side, then water also, it follows the direction of the lactose. So if you are providing more amount of concentrate, then it will help in production of more propionic acid. More propionic acid means more lactose. More lactose means more water will come in the milk. As a result, the total yield will increase. Okay, is it okay? So now you see the propionic acid, if it increase, then the milk production also, it will increase. Okay, now about the butyric acid. So butyric acid, the major role of the butyric acid is the development of the rumen papilla. Okay, so I hope in anatomy, whether you have studied or not, the ruminal papilla and all, ruminal wall, about the structure of the rumen.
No, sir.
Not yet studied.
Not.
Okay, so okay, in the wall of the rumen, there are certain papillas are there. Okay, papillae. Okay, finger-like projection. Okay, like these papillas are there. So for the development of rumen papilla, this butyric acid is very, very important. Okay. So for development of rumen papilla, butyric acid is very, very important. So this is the major function of the butyric acid. Now, going to the next slide. Okay, so this slide again, the impact is same. You see, this one, milk lactose, it is coming from the propionic acid, and milk fat, it is coming from the acetate and butyrate. Okay, and this milk protein, it is coming from the dietary protein. Okay, so these three, milk protein, milk sugar, that is lactose, and milk fat, these are the major component of the milk. Now if I ask you how to get more amount of milk with more amount of fat, both. Okay, I want more amount of milk at a time, more amount of with more amount of fat. Okay, so how this can be achieved? More amount of milk with more amount of fat. Any idea?
So, sir, by increasing the content of roughage and concentrate in diet.
Okay. So that's why, Somadev, that's why the balancing of the diet, it is very, very important. Okay, in terms of roughage and concentrate. Okay. Suppose if you are offering only roughage, then what will happen? The milk fat proportion it will increase, but the total yield it will not increase. Okay. But if you are providing both, okay, roughage as well as concentrate, then what will happen? Roughage will provide, means it will result in more acetate and butyrate. As a result, milk fat will increase. And if you are at the same time, if you are offering concentrate, then it will help in more propionic acid production. As a result, more lactose. And finally, as I already said, this water follows the lactose. So the total milk production also it will increase. Okay. Suppose today 2 liter, then next day definitely it will increase to 2.5 liter or 3 liter. Okay. So that's why balancing of the diet it is very, very important. Okay. In terms of roughage and concentrate. Okay. To get more amount of milk with more fat. Is it okay? Why we need to balance the feed?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Why you need why we need to balance the diet? This question definitely it will come in your exam. Okay, then you need to answer it like this way. Why we need to balance the diet? This is acetic. Why you need to balance the diet? Acetic acid. Acetic. Okay. Acetic acid it produce. Okay, you please explain why we need to balance the diet.
Yes, sir. We need to balance the diet in order to get milk, which is equal in fat proportion and also in water proportion and milk proportion.
Okay, so Farmista,
yes, sir.
Could you explain why we need to balance the diet?
So we need to balance the diet so as the milk production is also there along with the presence of proper fat amount in the milk, sir.
No, you need to balance the diet means in terms of roughage and concentrate.
Yes, sir. Also, in order to provide a proper nutrition to the animal, sir.
Whatever I have written in the slide, whether it is coming or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you can explain this one or not. You just go through once. Sarmista?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see why we need to balance the feed, because, okay, let me write one more, this one, roughage. Roughages will supply more acetic acid as well as more. Please.
Sir, in amino acids, sir, before you said that it is used for the production of milk fat. But sir, then in the previous...
Milk protein.
So milk protein.
Yes, milk protein. Milk protein, that is called casein, okay?
Yes, sir. But then, sir, over here, why is it, sir, like milk fat is also produced, sir? Acetic acid, sir.
Acetic acid is the major precursor of the milk fat, okay? Don't get confused. And what you are asking?
Oh, sir, I got it. So I was getting confused between amino acids and the acetic acid, sir.
Now you see why you need to balance the diet. You see, if you are providing roughage, then it will produce more acetic acid, okay? And finally, this acetic acid is the major precursor of milk fat, okay? Now, if you are offering concentrate, okay, concentrate to the cow, then what will happen? You see, it will lead to more propionic acid production, okay? More propionic acid means more lactose, okay? More propionic acid means more lactose. Lactose, in bracket I will write, this is the milk Sugar. Don't get confused. Milk, sugar. So, and water from the body. Okay, water from the body. It always follows the direction of the flow of the lactose. Okay, because this is a major osmolarity product. Okay, which balance the osmolarity of the both side. Okay, so that portion, if it is not clear, that one I'll try to explain in the next class, okay, with some pictures and all, okay. But for the time being, you try to remember the direction of the water always follows the direction of the sugar, okay, that is lactose. So if lactose is more and it is more in the udder, okay, udder means in the mammary gland of the cow, then water also it will come more amount, okay. So if water is coming more amount, that means total milk it will increase, is not it? Total milk it will increase. So that's why if you are offering more concentrate, then you will get more amount of water, okay, sorry, more amount of milk, okay, increase. Is it okay now? Why you need to balance the diet with rough phase as well as with concentrate? To get the final answer is balancing is why it is required to get more amount of milk with high fat, okay. This is the final answer, and how you just try to correlate. If it is not clear, you can ask me now, all of you, okay. Balancing why it is required, because to get more milk with high fat. Is it okay now? Why you need to balance the diet?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay now? So Somadev?
Yes, sir.
Now can you explain why we need to do balance the diet in terms of rough phase and concentrate? Means
Yes,
you
sir.
need to feed the cow rough phase as well as concentrate. Not only rough phase, not only concentrate. So if you are feeding only concentrate or only rough phase, then you won't get more amount of milk with high fat, okay. Because fat is also important, because the price of the milk in Indian condition it is depending on the fat percentage, okay. Suppose if fat is less in the milk, then but you are getting, suppose I will give you one example, okay. Suppose one cow is producing 10 liter of milk with 2% fat. Other cow is producing 8 liter of milk but 3% of fat. So the price of the milk it is depending on the fat percentage. So the milk which contains more fat, the price also it will be higher, okay. The milk which contains less fat, the price also automatically it will reduce, okay. So that's why for the farmer perspective also, and for the cow also, if you can balance the feed in terms of rough phase and concentrate, then you will get more amount of milk with more fat, okay. That will be more economical to the farmer, okay. Okay, so let me refresh today's topic, okay. So today's topic it is why we need to feed the balanced diet, okay. Balanced diet means in terms of rough phase and concentrate, okay. So this is the ruminant stomach, okay. That is rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomensum. So out of these four, rumen is the major or the biggest chamber, okay, followed by reticulum, omasum and abomensum. Abomensum is the true stomach. This is the carbohydrate end product of carbohydrate digestion, okay, in case of ruminant and in case of non-ruminant, okay. So in case of non-ruminant it is glucose, okay. For human being also it is glucose. For ruminant it is volatile fatty acid. So what are those volatile fatty acid? These are acetic acid, propionic acid, butyric acid, okay. These are the major volatile fatty acid produced by carbohydrate digestion, okay. So out of this volatile fatty acid, you see propionate and acetate. Propionate it is the precursor of the milk sugar, that is lactose, okay. And acetate and butyrate, these are the precursor of the milk fat, okay. So now you see acetate, butyrate, propionate. Out of these three volatile fatty acid, propionate is the precursor of the milk sugar lactose, and acetate and butyrate, these are the precursor of the milk fat. So now this is the difference of the and the function of the each and every volatile fatty acid. Now you see acetic acid, this is the major volatile fatty acid out of these three, and it helps in milk fat synthesis and predominates in high forage diet. Okay, high forage means roughage, forage, or you can say roughage. Okay, forage and roughage both are same. Okay, so if you are giving more roughage, then acetic acid will increase. Okay, so if you are providing less amount of roughage to the cow, then acetic acid production will reduce. As a result, milk fat also it will drop. Okay, drop means reduce. Then propionic acid. So this propionic acid, it is used in lactose synthesis. Okay, lactose synthesis and favored in a high concentrate diet. Okay, suppose if you are offering high amount of concentrate, then propionic acid production also it will increase. As a result, lactose will increase, and as you know, water follows the direction of the lactose. Okay, if lactose is more in the udder, then water also it will come more higher amount in the udder. Okay, to balance the osmolarity of the both the side. Okay, so as a result, what will happen? The total milk yield it will increase. Total milk will, suppose today one cow is giving 2 liter, then tomorrow it will produce 2.5 or 3 liter. Okay, definitely it will increase. So that's why you need to balance the diet in terms of roughage and concentrate. Roughage will produce more milk fat, and concentrate it will produce more amount of milk. Okay, so this is the again repetition of the previous slides. Okay, milk protein, how it is coming? It is coming from the crude protein. Crude protein means from the feed source which contains high amount of protein. Okay, then milk sugar, or this milk sugar, that is lactose, it is coming from the propionic acid. Propionic acid is a volatile fatty acid, and this propionic acid, volatile fatty acid, and this propionic acid it is produced by the carbohydrate fermentation. Okay, and this milk fat, from where it is coming? Butyric fatty acid, acetic acid. Okay, so this thing you please try to remember. Okay, so this is the final slide, why you need to balance the diet. So roughage, it will produce more acetic acid, as a result more fat. Okay, concentrate, propionic acid, then lactose. Okay, and water follows the direction of the lactose. That's why, and that's how the amount of milk it is increased. Okay, so why you need to balance the diet? We need diet to get more amount of milk, more or of fat milk. Okay, so this is today's class. So is it okay? Why you need to balance the diet? Now it is okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Am
Yes,
I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Aman Mina, now it is okay. Why you need Nissan Sharma? Huh? Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others? Nivedita.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nivedita.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Why you need? Is it okay? Why you need to balance
Yes,
the
sir.
diet?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain why you need to balance the diet? Balance the diet means in terms of roughage and concentrate.
Sir, if we give roughage, then the milk fat is increases, and if we give the proper amount of concentrate, then the volume of the milk is increases.
Nivedita.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay. It is correct. Okay. So what about Diga? Rim Jim? It is correct.
Yes, sir.
It is fine.
Yes,
Diga,
sir.
Rim Jim?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Diga, Rim Jim? I think
Yes.
they are not
Yes,
there.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Diga.
Sir.
Diga,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Now, this is the final slide. Okay, this is the final slide. It is showing the end product of the digestion of horse, pig, and birds. Okay, birds, chicken. The end product of carbohydrate digestion, it is simple sugar. Okay, sugar means glucose. Okay, this is glucose, and this glucose is the source of energy. Okay, so this end product of the protein, it is amino acid like the ruminant one, and end product of the fat is fatty acid. Okay, so like the ruminant. Okay, but the major difference is the end product of carbohydrate digestion. Okay, so you please remember the end product of carbohydrate digestion in case of ruminant, it is volatile fatty acid, and in case of non-ruminant, it is glucose. Okay, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So regarding your project, so you please try to make it correctly. Okay. Then again, one more assignment I will assign, not in this month, maybe in the next month. Okay. So that's why today I will go through all the assignments, whatever you have submitted. So if there is any problem, then I will let you know accordingly. Okay. And those who have not submitted, I request all of you to submit it immediately. Okay. So already last date already it is over. But still, if anyone could not able to submit, then you please submit it by today itself. Okay. So marks also I will give today itself. Okay. I will try to give the marks also. Okay. So this good feeding part with this good feeding. Good feeding means out of the 4 basic principles of animal welfare, one is good housing, good feeding, appropriate behavior, and good health. Okay, so good housing I have already covered. Good feeding also with this it is over. Okay, then I'll switch over to the good health. Okay, how to differentiate the normal animal from the abnormal one. Okay, abnormal means if it is suffering from any diseases or any pain or any injury is there, then how to differentiate the normal one with the abnormal one. Okay, so with that basis only we need to minimize the pain as well as the sufferings of the animal. Okay, so that is about the good health. So good health portion I will start from the next class. So good feeding part you please go through. I will provide some notes also. Okay, so why we need to provide roughage and concentrate, then why we need to maintain the proportion of roughage and concentrate in the diet. Then comes to colostrum feeding. Okay, importance of colostrum feeding in case of calf. Okay, mainly in case of calf. Then what is the difference between normal milk with the colostrum? Okay, the antibody or immunoglobulin percentage, which immunoglobulin is a highest amount in case of highest amount in case of colostrum. Okay, then what are the different factors affecting the production of the colostrum? Okay, the importance of dry period. Okay, all these things you please try to remember. Okay, then the timing. Okay, when to feed. Okay, how much amount to feed. This thing you please go through. Nishan Sharma.
Yes, sir.
How much amount of colostrum need to feed to the calf?
Sir, it is about 1/10 of the body weight of calf.
Okay, very good. 1/10 of the body weight of the calf. Okay. So next me ask the Sonam. Sonam.
Yes, sir.
Within how much time you need to feed the colostrum to the calf? What is the appropriate timing of the feeding of colostrum or colostrum feeding?
After birth.
After?
So birth.
After birth. Sonal,
Okay.
what is the appropriate time of the feeding of colostrum to the calf?
Yes, sir.
What is the appropriate time of feeding colostrum to the calf?
So 2 hours
Okay.
after birth.
2 hours after birth. Okay. So what will happen if you offer after 24 hours or one day? Then
So
what
they
will happen?
So they don't absorb the immunoglobulins.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. You have answered it correctly. So next. Mazharul Islam. Mazharul Islam. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you answer what are the different factors affecting the quality of colostrum? Can you name some factors? Mazharul Islam.
Sorry, sir. I don't remember, sir.
Okay. Sanjay.
Sir?
Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir.
Which immunoglobulin is present in a highest amount in the colostrum?
Sir, IgG.
IgG. Okay, very good. So, what are the different factors affecting the quality of the colostrum? What are the different? Okay, Asma Manu. Asma, am I audible to you? Asma. Anisha Gurung. Anisha. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Anisha, can you tell me whether colostrum is providing active immunity or passive immunity to the calf? Anisha. Sapna, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, can you tell me whether this colostrum is providing active immunity or passive immunity to the calf?
Sir, passive immunity to the calf.
Passive immunity to the calf. So what is the difference between this active immunity and passive immunity?
So the active immunity developed by ourselves within the body, and passive immunity transferred from one.
Yes. Passive means you are getting the already formed immunoglobulins. Okay, means already formed. Okay, it is already formed outside. Then we are taking it. Okay, and active means we are developing. Okay, one is spoon feeding, other one is developing. Okay, so that is the difference between active and passive. Okay, passive means already immunity has developed. Okay, so that antibodies we are taking. Okay, then if there is no problem, then I will stop here. Okay, is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for joining the class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.